Why do you recommend automated webinars as a marketing tool?
Well, one, it's so stress-free. Like,
That's why
I
we
just,
built it.
I have PTSD from certain webinar platforms that will not be named. Technical issues, mid-sales pitch, the webinar just turning off, registration issues. And so for me, I've done a webinar on eWebinar where it was only a one-time showing. It was a day and time, and that it was like a live webinar, but it was pre-recorded, right? And I was in the chat, and it was the most stress-free experience I had ever had in my entire life. Like, I was like, I am never going back ever. So that's one reason why I will continue to stand. But automated webinars, in particular with eWebinar, again, I firmly believe that video speeds up the building of the know, like, and trust factor. So much more than just audio, just captions, just whatever. Like, it can literally take someone from not knowing who you are to being ready to open their wallets for you if you've done it correctly. And when we're thinking about driving revenue, we have to think about how can we shorten that customer journey? How can we take it from it being a 3-month situation to a 3-week situation? And so video help speed that up. So that's one of the reasons why automated webinars are a really great option for you. Additionally, with the webinar style where you can have slides and visuals and all of that, you get the opportunity to show and tell. So it's not just talking head, but it's also, hey, even if it's just, you don't do slides, maybe you just have one diagram of your roadmap, right? Like, showing that can, again, help people being able to fully understand, and you're adapting to different learning styles. Not to mention the interactive features in eWebinar, like the polls, the Q&As, things like that. That is not only fun, but it keeps the person engaged, because it's human nature to pull out your phone when you're listening to a training or to open up another browser. But this helps to keep that person engaged and their mind sharp, so that they're actively engaging and listening to what you're saying and processing what you're saying, right? And so with that, the option at the end of people being able to go ahead and enroll or apply or things like that, again, instead of them having to go type in a URL or wait for the email to come, or it being 3 hours later, they don't care anymore, you now have an option to capture them in real time when they're at that place emotionally and logically where they're ready to buy. And again, if you wanted to do this through an email series or whatever else you were doing, it's going to take so much longer and you're going to lose interest. The risk with the live webinar to me is that the technical issues, like, I've literally had issues where I'm like, this literally cost me thousands of dollars. I absolutely know that. Even though it's not my fault, it's not a good look for my business or my brand that my webinars, every time I have them, there's an issue, it cuts off, people can't hear, they can't see. Like, those things, unfortunately, reflect off on us. And so, with automated webinars, I've also noticed, and I'm still tracking this data, but Melissa, I've been looking at this, the amount of questions I get has decreased around the program. So people who've enrolled based on my eWebinar either have no questions or like one or two, versus people who don't. People who come through like an email or a DM, the sales discussions, whether that's via text, voice memo, or on the phone, takes so much longer.
Well, they're pre-educated.
Yeah. Then in my eWebinar, though, because of how I built it, they already know like the method, right? And they also know what the program is about, but more importantly, they get the fundamental psychology of it around like, what is my experience going to be? What am I going to learn? Why do I need this? Why does this matter? What's the risk of me not taking action? They already have all of that. And so the fact that you can now sell a ticket without even having to have a conversation.
Yeah. Very, very short customer journey.